Okay, we are live. I will have to apologize for the poor image quality. My camera is not here with me, so I'm using the camera on my laptop computer actually. Uh, that will it will be better next time, but I have to go and buy some equipment to sort that out. But anyway, um, I will pull up an article here. Yeah, getting advanced here with this live streaming thing. Um, I will pull up an article here about Biden's infamous speech. Um, we here in Norway, um, yeah, we have heard about your president's speech, and of course, mainstream media here is just reporting about it. But even in mainstream media, um, where they hate the MAGA movement, even in mainstream media, they were not very positive about that speech that old flatulent man Biden held the other day. And I will get into that. I'll apply some sense and reason to the best of my abilities, and I'll try to share my thoughts on this. Okay, I'll just give it a few seconds while people are joining. Lots of good people here as always. Well, you are all good people. um, Redneck Heathen is here. Let's see. Let me just say hello, and Ravntor is here. Good to see you. And Brian, Jim's Carnivore Kitchen, Joe, okay, Night Scream, Genevieve, okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, oh, Angela liked my Viking insults video. That awesome. that was funny. But anyway, let me see if I can pull up that article. Let's see now. Like this, hopefully. Success. What do you think about that? Very advanced. Yeah. So, Biden enters the stage and they do something with the lights there so that it all turns red in the background. And you have two, I believe, Marines standing there um, against the wall, facing forwards. The visuals are very interesting, I must say. Very interesting. Why would a president use visuals like that? Or, I understand that Biden is a very old, senile man, but the people making decisions there, why would they use visuals like that? I don't think that they are stupid. Well, at least, no. Let's just assume they're not incredibly stupid. Why are they using visuals like that? I think in recent years, the movie that used visuals like that, the red and the black and people in the background and the leader, the dictator in the center there. That's V for Vendetta. I think that was also visuals like that. So why? Yeah, it looks satanic. Yeah, and I know what I'm talking about. I grew up here in Norway, the home country of black metal, and the black metal visuals this could actually this stage could have been used for a black metal band in the 90s. So, but anyway, it's interesting. So first and foremost, this is power symbolism. That's quite obvious. It's power symbolism. If you want to come across as someone building bridges, bringing people together, you would have it would look not as dark, of course, and you wouldn't have all these power symbols there. You would have someone not clenching his fists like a mini Hitler, but instead reaching out, quite literally, reaching out his hand. And yeah, you would have visuals like that instead. Redneck Heathen says it looks like a Gorgoroth background. Yes. Well, thank you, by the way, for that donation. Thanks a lot. Let's see if I can also do this. Wow. Can you see how advanced I am now? We have an article here that I can move up and down like this. Okay, and I'll get to that article. Now I don't know the website. I take no responsibility of the website that I'm using here. I glanced through the text. I didn't find anything wrong there, but I don't know the website. So, okay. But these visuals, we need to talk about these visuals that are being used here and why. Okay, so we know this is about power. Why now? Why are they using these visuals to signal power and divisiveness? Why is that? I think they're getting a little bit desperate. I think that they can see that people in the USA are turning against, what should we call it? Not Democrats, because there are sensible Democrats, but this administration that you have there now. It is, the way I see it. Now, I come from Norway, so we are quite conservative, not in the Christian conservative way, but we are socially conservative here in many ways, actually. So, to me, looking at the leftists in the USA, I would say they are so extreme that I'm shocked. I'm deeply shocked. Why is it that so these people are afraid now? They're losing the grasp, and I think it's because that people are seeing that the policies, especially the financial and economic politics being applied, they are making things worse. And you had Trump, who is a businessman, and you could say a lot about Trump, but he knew how to run a business, or he knows how to run a business, and he did it better, much better than the current administration. So I think that what they are trying now, the Biden administration and those people, I think that they are trying to intentionally divide the USA even more. I can see no other reason to do this, no other reason to stand there having that old man Biden clenching his fists. Can you see how much he looks like, Mussolini and Hitler? I have to say that I'm not the first one who says it, but it's strikingly similar. So let's get to the let's get to what is said. The most interesting part to me was that Yeah, he was, it says here in the article, he was throwing around words like semi-fascist and MAGA Republicans, that's the enemy. So he's basically saying that MAGA Republicans are fascist. And first of all, that is not correct. Now, if you look at what a fascist is, now a fascist supports a very big, strong state. So it's the opposite of individualism. And if you look at the MAGA movement, it's it's all about individualism, actually, the way I see it. There is, of course, a strong Christian component there, or Christian conservative component. Um, it's about protecting the nation and so on. But individualism is a main part of it. And it says that they promote authoritarian leaders. Now, this is projecting what they are doing, because if you look at the leftists up through history, let's get this completely accurate here. The MAGA movement, saying that the MAGA movement promote authoritarian leaders is incorrect. I might say that there are a lot of things I disagree with when it comes to the MAGA movement, but saying that they are authoritarian or promoting authoritarian leaders is incorrect. It's the current administration doing that. It's a typical leftist and fascist thing, and fascist, looking at politics and philosophy. Now, idéhistoria is what we call it in Norwegian. I don't know the English word for that. Fascism is actually, and I'm willing to defend this statement anytime, anywhere. Fascism is not right wing; it's left wing. And people can try to argue against that, but they will not succeed. So let's move on here. I'll read the most infamous two quotes here, and he will be remembered for this, I believe, because this was really, really bad. He said that Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the foundations of a republic. He said they are determined to take this country backward. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames of political violence. He also said that MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. Okay, so let's take this apart. No right to privacy. Well, that's interesting coming from an administration like Biden's administration. If we talk about privacy, well, we have been through some countries are still in a state of where privacy doesn't matter. Okay. I'm talking, of course, about pandemic. That's a key word. Now we can agree or disagree on whether it was that, but that's the key word. Okay. And they took away people's privacy. And they did that by monitoring their movements using their mobile phones. And people really need to understand that it is important that people try to understand how privacy was taken away. Respecting privacy is typically a right-wing thing. It's not a left-wing thing. Now, no right to contraception. I'm on that one. I don't know, but I actually don't know. But saying that, but I'll just say this: saying that you're against abortion is not the same as saying that you're against contraceptives. And I see that these people, the Democrats, the extreme leftists, they are trying to claim that those who are against abortion are also against contraception. No right to marry who you love. Again, I don't know. I don't know the MAGA movement's policies on that. I suppose he's talking about gay marriage there. Most people on the right, I would say, at least to my knowledge, they don't care. They don't care if people are gay, or they don't care. But I might be wrong on that one. I live here in Norway, not in the USA. So backwards, well, okay. If there is one thing that takes a country backwards, it's recession and stagflation, like I think we have now. So anyway, they also he said that the MAGA Republicans fan the flames of political violence. BLM, burning down the cities. That's political violence. January the 6th. Was that political violence? I'll leave that up to you to decide. I would say that the BLM riots was political violence, and you really can't look at it and call it and say that it was not violent and that it was not political. And Biden and his fine little friends, they supported that, didn't they? But anyway, now let's see if I'll just Wolfo Odin, good to see you as always. I'll just scroll up. I lost a lot of comments here. I didn't lose the comments. I just I just didn't see them because I was reading from the article. Okay. Okay, so now, so that was the speech, and it was intentional. It was intentional that it was supposed to be divisive. That's what I think. And now, if you look at the ethics in trying to be divisive, trying to set people up against each other, well, it's terrible. It's evil the way I see it, you know. But I don't think ethics apply anywhere in the career politician's life or world. I think it's awful what they're doing here because let me just say this: we have here right now in the chat a lot of different people. We have if we talk about religion, we have heathens and pagans, we have atheists, we have Christians. Just glancing at the chat now, and we usually come along quite okay. We do get some trolling here from the evangelists who say that I'm going to hell and I'm being a horrible parent since I'm not Christian and so on. But I think we've gotten rid of most of those people by blocking. And there's a Taoist here. So my point is that we usually we get along, and we I will say that we don't hate each other just because we have a different religion. And um, I think that these politicians, they could do that. They could come along, not come along. They could um, be in. They could work with other politicians, other people, but they don't want to do that. They want this divisiveness, at least, you know, in the general population. So I don't know. I just find this very disturbing that it seems like this is how they're going to run their campaign to get uh, a democratic president for 4 new years. But first, you have this midterm election in the USA, I believe. And let's see here. Sorry. Yeah, Genevieve says, I think this is a pretty respectful community overall. Yeah, so this is what they're going to do, and we're going to see more of this. And it's not good. This is not what the USA needs. And from my opinion, again, I'm not in the USA. I'm a Norwegian in Norway, but nobody needs this. It's not good. And you might say that, well, like the Democrats are saying, well, the MAGA Republicans are so extreme and they are so awful when they say the things that they say and so on. Well, guess what? I could say that about a lot of people. Now, and now I was almost going to start saying what I think about certain political movements, but I won't. I won't, because this is not the time to be in opposition to each other. This is the time to work together. We are in a difficult situation when it comes to the economics. And KD, well, thank you. Thanks a lot. That's very kind of you to say. And we might disagree, and we do disagree on several things, but right now we need to put our differences aside and work together. And I don't think you do that by saying that your opposition is what was the word again? That they threaten the very foundations of our republic, and they fan the flames of political violence. So again, that's the message. And when you look at it, it makes sense that they chose those symbols and those visuals. It makes sense because it was a hate speech. It was about hating the opposition. Your president in the USA, or the people, his handlers, the people making decisions, they actually want large parts of the population to hate another part of the population, the MAGA Republicans, or anyone who dare to disagree with them. And it's such an awful thing to do. I predict that there will be new riots before the next presidential election. I predict that people will get killed. How many people got killed during the BLM riots? Quite a lot, actually. So what Biden could have done, he could have said that this is the time to come together, put our differences aside and work together, and so on and so on. But if, of course, he won't say that. That would have been the sensible thing to do. Yeah. I have noticed, as Sandra says here, that everything they say that the MAGA Republicans stand for and do is what they do and what they stand for. They lie, 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 saying the opposite of what is true. Yes. And I must say, your leftists in the USA are much further to the left on social issues and so on than they are here in Norway. Of course, we have crazy people here as well, but if you look at, for instance, like the Labour Party, they're not crazy, at least. they are they are they have some solutions that I disagree with, but they're not. It's not like they will ruin the country. They seem to understand economics mostly, and they're not crazy. No, it's but the Democrats in the USA, they just seem insane to me. And by the way, I do have some knowledge of economics. My education is in economics and business administration. Let's see here. Yeah, Kyrie says our leftists are insane. I mean, in some states in the USA, I've been told that it's legal to have an abortion up to the day of birth. And we're not talking about those tragic cases where there is a medical, something very wrong medically speaking. And I'm not a doctor, so I really can't, speak about those cases. But we're talking about cases where there isn't any medical reason for an abortion. And to me, that is, it's unforgivable. It is murder. Well, it is, and and that would never, as they say, that crap would never fly here. Isn't that the expression? That could never happen here. Well, knock wood, you never know, but it's so far from where we are in my part of the world. It's, of course, you have politicians. They are mostly on the left who work towards in adding weeks to the limit of legal abortion. But and I don't think they should do that. I disagree absolutely with that. But it's like when I heard about this, when I heard about the thing where it's, in some states it's legal to have an abortion in up to birth, I thought that it was not true. I thought it was something, a rumor on the internet, and I didn't even care to to go and look it up, because I thought that was an obvious, that was obviously not true. But sadly, it is. So, you know, that's that's not only extreme, but it's evil. It's evil. And you could say that, well, now with that we are talking about it, a mother who chooses to do that must be have some mental disorder or something. And but still, there are doctors doing that, and I so but anyway, let's leave that, because let's leave that now. Um okay, when it comes to Trump, let me just say that I believe, in retrospect, that if he had not chosen to go through with and brag about the Operation Warp Speed and all that, um, he would have done better in the elections. I think it was a huge mistake, um, and all that. So, but anyway, I'm just hoping for the USA now that they get someone sensible, someone who knows what he or she is doing, someone who is not divisive, not hateful, and someone who understands ethics and economics as president next time. That's what I hope. And frankly, I think that's more important than it being a Republican or Democrat. But I just can't see that the Democratic Party will have anyone like that as their candidate. Um, and there is, of course, a danger now that the Republicans get provoked, they get angry. Well, they should be, but that and that it will affect their choice when it comes to their presidential candidate. At this point, I think it will be Trump. But I think that your what's his name, the Florida DeSantis would be a much better choice. But it's luckily it's not up to me to decide, sitting here in Norway. Um, so um, yeah, you have M says that rumor on the street. Kamala is going to announce this week she will be the acting president going forward. God help us all. Now, personally, I don't like her. From what I've seen, her statements and so on, yeah, God help us all. And I'm saying that I'm not even Christian, but yeah, God help us all. Um, that would be even worse. Um, oh, I hope not. I hope not. um, Christopher, thanks a lot. Um, bless you, Norway. Thanks a lot. Yeah, good point there. Andrew says, I think that's what they want, provoke black-pilled, unhinged Republicans to attack so that Dems can then point and go, see, they want to kill you. They're militant extremists. Yeah, so this is now maybe you've heard that, or you get that I'm not a big fan of this attitude that you see in certain parts of the prepping community, that, well, I have 1,000 guns here, and I'm ready for civil war, and yada yada yada. I don't like that so much. Well, we might think what we think. We might um, we might you know there are things that we don't really need to say, because it doesn't really help our cause. I'm not saying we have the same cause, but well, in a way we do. We all want a more sensible, reasonable, humane society. No matter where we live in the world, that's what we want. And it doesn't help if you're that guy who says that, well, I'm ready to fight. I have 1,000 guns here and I'm ready to fight. It doesn't help, you know. So Bernhard, the moment Bjorn starts to pray, we are lost. Well, yeah, yeah, that's funny. My son and my daughter, they say that Kanye West will be running for president. We all find that very funny. But now I know nothing about him. He's a rapper. That's what I've heard. But it's almost like if it's Biden or Trump, it's like it's like it's a circus, and then you have Kanye West. uh, hmm. So I don't know what you mean, Steve Borg resistance. Give me a shadow ban check. I can see you there. I can see your comment. Okay. Yeah. Kanye and Lil Wayne 2024. Yeah, that's funny. uh, well, never say never. They said they laughed at Trump as well. uh, but well, yeah, yeah. Steve Borg, yes, you are here. We can see you. I can't respond to all the comments. It's moving fast here. Now, let's see here. I will. Don't get me wrong here. I'm saying that I'm not a Trump fan, and I'm not. But if it was, and I've said this before, and I would have voted for Trump if the alternative was Hillary. I would have voted for Trump if the alternative was Biden. Um, and what can I say? Saying that is almost illegal in public in Europe. It's like we have a lot of people thinking the same, but it's like you can't say it. And I'm like, if it's like you can't say it, I will certainly say it. I will certainly say it. Um, what? Kanye is calling his party the birthday party. That's funny. Yeah. Um, so um, now let's see here. I'm Bjorn for y'all 2024. Well, thank you, Wolf of Odin. Yes. um, yeah. Well, I, it's difficult for me sitting here um, and trying to understand what's going on in a different country. It is difficult, and I will say that I'm obviously not an expert on this. How could I be? I believe that if you're going to understand, if you want to understand a country, you need to travel in that country. I believe that, and I've only been to I've been to New York twice, and I've been to Los Angeles, and I've been to parts up the coast north of Los Angeles. That's all. So okay, I'm obviously not an expert at all, and I'm just giving you some sharing some thoughts on this, and that's all. But that speech, Biden's speech, it's hard to listen to that and not hearing that he's trying to divide the country even more. I think that's what they want, and that's a horrible thing to do. Right? And some political analysts here they said that he Biden, that is, or the Democrats now, they are trying to rally the rally people to support them. They're trying to scare people to vote Democrat now in the midterms. No, is that midterms you call it? I hope I'm correct on that one. The one after 2 years, and I'm sorry, if midterms. I hope so. Rally the lunatics, says Wolf of Odin. Yeah. You have the foot soldiers, the people who all political movements have had their foot soldiers. Well, actually, I don't know if all political movements up through history have had foot soldiers, but the National Socialists in Germany had their foot soldiers. I believe they were called the Black Shirts, and you had them under Lenin and Stalin going around trying to find people who like the wealthy farmers in the Soviet Union. They first they kill a lot of them. I'm sure you know this, and then they would put them in the gulag where they would work themselves to death. And their only crime was that they had private property. You know, I think it was no the brown shirts is a different fraction there. I think they were the black shirts actually. Um, that was the people in Germany um, going around in the streets looking for Jews uh, and but anyway. Yeah, no, so the brown shirts were the other people after that in the same. But anyway, I can look that up. Doesn't matter. Um, and it's I'm tempted to say that the BLM is or was, they're not so active anymore. I think um, is was used as foot soldiers. Um, because they were intimidating people. They were acting like bullies, and yeah. But anyway, um, I can find out if it was when you had the brown shirts and the black shirts, but I'm pretty sure it was the black shirts in 1930s Germany, terrorizing Jews and homosexuals as well, actually, and people with mental illness and so on and so on. But if I'm wrong, I will tell you in a later live stream. And because I think the brown suits were I can't remember now, but later there. Yeah. Yes, the common German military, but not all of them. Oh, I get hung up in these details, but I'll try. Let's leave it. You know, you know who I'm talking about here. So, let's see here. I will say this as well. There are certainly, because we need to be humble. We need to look at things as they are to the best of our abilities. And I think that there certainly are elements or groups within, I guess you could say they are within the MAGA Republican movement. People who are quite extreme, who are intolerant and hateful. Now, I'm saying that you will find people like that inside that larger group. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they are all like that. I'm saying that you will find them within that group. So when journalists from Norway go to the USA and they interview people supporting Trump, they always pick someone who looks like not so intelligent, if you know what I mean. They always pick some simpleton standing outside some event with a funny hat and no teeth and you know so so they and they interview that person as a representative of the MAGA movement. Why do they do that? Well, because obviously they want to portray Trump supporters as stupid, with no teeth, and as people who don't know what's going on, people who can't even manage their own lives, and so on and so on. And interestingly, when they talk about what they call the insurrection, January the 6th, and they always say that, well, and one person was killed, period. They don't say who was killed. That's funny, isn't it? Because if my memory serves me right, one person who was killed tragically was one of the people who went into the White House, and she was shot by one of the guards or the police. So it's convenient for them not to mention that, isn't it? But finishing my line of thought there, it is not good to have people who, well, or let me phrase it in a different way. There certainly are people within the MAGA movement who are hateful, who are intolerant, and who want to control other people's lives. So they will probably be, what you could call conservative Christians. Again, not saying even that all conservative Christians are like that, but I've seen some. I'm on YouTube. My main channel is quite large with more than 500,000 subscribers. YouTube is keeping it at that, keeping it there. It's been YouTube has been keeping it there for months now, but that's yeah. But anyway, you certainly have people like that, and it's easy to find people like that. So Biden and the Democrats, they can always point at those people and say, "Look at what they're saying. Look at what they're doing. Look at look at them. Look at them. They're standing there, stupid and with no teeth, and they want to take our country back to the medieval age, the dark ages, where women will have to now I haven't seen this. It's a TV series with the funny hats and all that, and where women are, have no freedom and all that. It's it's silly, but it's easy for them to do that when you have these people who are claiming stupid things. They're believing in all conspiracy theories out there. A lot of people believing that the Earth is flat and all of that. So that's not the kind of people you want to have there in front. To it's but the opposition or the Democrats will find them, and they will use them as representatives of the MAGA movement. But it is not true. The way I see it, it's not true. So yeah, the Handmaid's Tale. So when they in the USA, when they decided that it will now be up to each state to decide on the abortion laws, they said that, well, we're having it's like the Handmaid's Tale. So it's like, no. First of all, one is fiction, silly fiction, if you ask me, and yeah, okay. I'm sure you get my point here. I'm sure you get my point. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit is that incoherent? Am I being incoherent? I tried to get up early to do this while people in the USA were still up, and I'm being hit like a little bit with being tired a little bit now. Okay. Oh, thank you, GB. Yeah, well, it's human sacrifice. Human sacrifice. That was. I'll find a comment. I'm sorry, I lost the comment now. Yeah, that's actually, well, it's horrible, of course, but it is interesting to see how it has been applied and what it is, and we could talk about that in a hidden hangout. I believe would be more fitting to do that, because I would claim that it was practiced during Christianity, actually. But that's a different topic. So, and it's more like a one of those discussions that require people to have an open mind and to look at even their own line of thinking from the outside and so on. And it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. Talking about the discussion, not human sacrifice, by the way. Yeah. Okay. let's see. Let's briefly get into what we have ahead of us. In Norway now, we have autumn now, and I love this time of the year. Sadly, we now have the deer louse flies. I talked about those before. They land in my hair and my beard. It's it's so bad now. I can't go camping until we've had a few nights of frost. But anyway, it's getting colder, and the prices of electricity, electric power, have gone through the roof here. So businesses are closing down. It's really bad. It's actually really bad, and it's the same in most European countries. And I have quite a good grasp of why this has happened. It's not complicated. Just need to look at this from economic with the angle of an no the economic viewpoint, and it's easy to understand. But people will be struggling. And the Rickroller one says, I feel sorry for people who live in European cities. It's going to get very cold in the winter. You should be fine with all that wood to burn around you. Yes, we have a lot of firewood. We have a lot of firewood. But people will be struggling. And in apartments, they typically don't have a fireplace. And and that's a problem. That's a big problem. So people are struggling now. This is, and it's going to get worse. And if you have noticed on my main channel, if you have seen any of my videos, if you have been following me on my main channel, I am not talking so much about things getting worse anymore. Why is that? Well, two reasons. First of all, I don't want to be that stupid old guy sitting there shouting at everything that is bad in the world. I don't want to be that guy. No. And secondly, I have already said, and many other people have said, what's going to happen. Now it is happening. And I don't like to repeat myself too much. So that's how it is. That's how it is. And I've also talked about the doom and gloom YouTubers, and sadly a lot of prepper channels now fall into that category. It's not good, it's not good, because it makes you look ridiculous. Actually, it makes you look ridiculous when you sit there and you talk about how things are going to get very bad, and that's what you do in every video. It's like we said that it will be a cold winter. Get firewood, get out of the city if you can. Now it's getting colder. Do I need to say more? It's going to be hard, no? But you're going to have to soldier through it, if that's the right expression. Atmas 1337, thank you. I'm very glad to hear that. Yeah, they do it for the money, I lost the other comment now, but the other comment said that most Christians are really good people. Yeah, I think most, and you can feel in any religion, there are good people. Doesn't matter, you know. Doesn't matter to me what religion you have. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's your character matters, and it's like I'm not judgmental. I'm Well, some would say I am, but I don't care if you're Christian or Muslim or atheist or whatever. I don't care. Of course, we have more to talk about if you're a Norse heathen or a Norse pagan, because like me, it's your character that matters. Um, and that actually goes for political disagreements as well. As long as it's kept within a certain, we can disagree on things politically, um, and that's okay, but it needs to be kept within a certain, there are limits, because if people are starting to say things like, well, we will now have abortion up to birth, you're not within that humane, you're just crazy, and then we have nothing to talk about anymore. Okay. Genevieve, thanks a lot for those kind words. You've been a member of my channels for a year now. The best on YouTube. Well, thanks a lot. Do you hear that, YouTube? Do you hear that? Stop pushing my videos down, YouTube. Uh, thanks a lot. And thanks a lot to Patriotic White as well. Oh, now it's gone. I don't know what happened there, but I saw it, and thanks a lot. Okay. So yeah, this is a problem now. Like Wolf of Odin says, I don't get most notifications. So, and I've said it many times. This is a problem on YouTube, and so you can try to see if you have now. Go to the notification. Now, when you subscribe, you need to click on the bell and choose all notifications. So you subscribe and you choose all notifications. That's the only way to tell YouTube that you want to be notified, or else you won't be notified. But sometimes, and people are telling me that they did that, but for some reason that bell is not clicked, like YouTube has changed it. Another thing that happened here on YouTube was that for weeks, maybe months, at least for weeks, my merchandise didn't show up. That it showed up from yesterday, actually, again. I don't know why. I tried to fix it, but all my settings were correct. But I think that you should be able to see either during the live stream or after, or both, a couple of items from my spring store, some merchandise if you're interested. So it is, I'm going to end this live stream soon now, but I just want to say that being a YouTuber, it's not so easy, and YouTube, they don't make it easier, especially now when I am trying to direct my content on the main channel towards less divisive stuff, if you will, and positive content, connecting with nature and things like that. It doesn't really, the views are much lower, much lower. But I feel it's the only decent thing to do at this point, because people, you guys, you already know that things are hard. You know that it's going to get difficult, and you don't need yet another guy sitting here, saying that, oh, it's going to get difficult. It's going to be cold winter, cold winter, cold winter. You need some positivity. That's what I need, and that's what I'll try to bring. Um, but it's not like YouTube doesn't like that, apparently. And I made a video on. Well, thanks a lot, Wolf of Odin, and the bitter critter, Beaverines. Beaverines, isn't that Prepper Nation fan club? It's funny. So I made a video on the main channel yesterday, talking about Old Norse insults and cursing, and it's hilarious, and since it was in Old Norse, and I tried to translate in such a way that um, I wouldn't get censored, because it was really rude, they didn't hold back. But that video has performed extremely poorly, very low views. So again, it's and that affects my income, of course. Of course, that's luckily I don't rely on YouTube to put food on the table. But I would have hoped that a video like that, putting a smile on people's face, would perform better. But it's being pushed down by the algorithm, and that's just how it is. So let me clarify. Abundant life is, I don't know if that was directed to me or other people here, but if it was directed towards me, you're asking, you are calling conservative Christians hateful and intolerant. No, you need to maybe scroll back a little bit and don't take things out of context. But anyway, so GB says no, dude, he never did. Some people are some conservative Christians are hateful and all that, of course. You will find bad people in all groups, and we've seen them here, when I do especially when I do the heathen hangouts. It used to be worse. We had people here, and I said Christians, but I'm sorry about my choice of language there, but I now know that Christian is not the right word. It's evangelists. Evangelists. That's what you call them. They would come here and say all the nasty stuff about me, going to hell and all that. But no, I don't think conservative Christians are bad. Patriotic White says, Well, thank you for the donation. You're asking, just tell me one thing. Do you believe Europe is for Europeans and Europeans alone? Um, well, that's the simple answer would be no, and I would guess that that's a disappointing answer to you. But no, I don't think that, because um, it's not that simple. Like, if you came to Norway, you would see that we have a need for people coming here. We need people to come here to work in, for instance, the health sector, because we don't have enough people here to fill the positions there. We need more doctors, we need more nurses, and so on. Um, Now, the Ukraine is an obvious example, and I've said before, and I'll try to explain briefly. And that's of course in Europe, but the same goes for people coming from other countries. Um, the counties or the regions in rural Norway, they really wanted to have refugees coming there. They wanted that, and why? Because often, very often, these people will, especially the Ukrainians who are, they know English and they will easily learn Norwegian, and they will then start working as teachers. That's another one. We need more teachers and nurses and doctors and so on and so on. And it's needed. It's needed. I think maybe what you are referring to are people like young men from like North Africa coming to live in the continental European cities. I don't think that's a good thing. But I think that we should help where we can. We should provide medical treatment. We should, just be humane about this. Hope that answered your question. Um, so yeah, this has nothing to do with that, but we have freedom to roam law in Scandinavia, says Niels. Yes, we do. We can. That has to do with camping and hiking, so we can just walk around where we want to. Not in people's gardens, of course, but um, it makes life easier when you're a bushcrafter, hiker, um, camper, and so on. Um, I think they have right to roam in Scotland as well, but not in England. Let me know if I'm right on that one. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm hoping, Sandra. To a very warm place with what YouTube likes. Make the videos that you want to make, and you will attract the audience you want. I am fully aware that this is interesting. Maybe it's more interesting to me than to you guys, but I'll say it anyway. Now, if I could, I do care about money. It would be a lie to say that I don't care about money. I do care about money, but I don't care. I'm not dependent on the YouTube money. So much more important than the views is my enjoyment making videos. And hopefully they will attract the audience that appreciates my content, hopefully. But if you look at, the YouTube gurus talking about a good YouTube video, then they're talking about, to them, what is a good YouTube video? What's a good video here on YouTube? Well, according to them, it's a video with a lot of views. I disagree with that. Quality is not the same as views. The view number is not a measurement of quality. So, yeah, money is the root of all evil, says Sandra. Well, Wolf Odin says money is peace of mind. It is. Let's see here. It is. Money is both those two things, you could say. Scrolling up here. Oh, this is interesting. R1 Gambler says, and I'll just read the comment here. John Meacham, the former national affairs editor at Newsweek and a contributing editor at Time magazine, helped write Joe Biden's Hitlerian fascist hateful speech. I think it was, I'll say this, I haven't listened to the whole speech, but the parts I have listened to were quite well written. You could have put it in a movie, actually, like where the fascist dictator talks about how he has the solutions and how everything that he stands for is good and right, and how the opposition is, they are evil and want to bring the country to back in time. And to, we have all seen movies like that, and it's even the mannerisms. I mean, he's standing there clenching his little fists, and we have seen that before. And I don't know if he was instructed to do that. I don't know if it says on the teleprompter how he's supposed to. Does it say clench your fists, raise your fists? I don't know, or if it's natural to him. I don't know, and I don't know which one of those are the most, or the scare. It's the scariest. So, yeah, what is money? What is money? That's a very interesting discussion. What is wealth? No, more importantly, what is wealth? Now, I don't know if you can hear this, but my belly is grumbling because I'm hungry. So when that happens, I need to eat. So I'll have my breakfast now. Yes, real money isn't paper. I'll just show some of the comments here before we end this live stream. Roger said it looked like someone wanted him to look bad. Yeah, I don't know if I have mentioned this already, but when I saw the images from the speech, I thought, what is it like someone put him in, photoshopped him into a movie or something like that? Yeah, that movie, V for Vendetta. Is it like, or even Star Wars actually, dark and red light and uh, yeah, I will go and have some bacon um, and Patriotic White, thank you for the donation. I will have to end the live stream now though, and getting so hungry. I'm on, I wouldn't say I'm on the carnivore diet because that means that you eat only meat, but I eat a lot of meat every day. But I found that it's not enough, so I've added more, carbs because I go hungry if I don't add extra calories. So, but anyway, uh, did what? CNN made it pink, did they? uh, uh, well, that actually would have made it look. Um, I don't know what to say to that. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. That's all for now. Have a wonderful day. And if you haven't already, go and check out my video on Old Norse insults and cursing, which is something that is useful to know, I think. I'll put it here on the end screen as well. Okay, if you watch this after the live stream. Okay, that's all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.